Happy New Year! Episode number 6.
Happy 2021.
I know, 2021. It's going to be like 3 weeks of me incorrectly typing 2020 into my keyboard.
More like 3 months. That's
yeah, true. Well, we'll see. No, because it seems like every month it takes me like a couple days to reset it. So maybe it'll take a week for a year, you know?
That's your logic?
Yeah, because if it takes me like, 01 for January to flip over to 02 for February, and that usually takes me like a day or two to get used to it, it'll probably take me like a week. Or maybe a month.
I had to write down the date today, and I didn't even write it down. Like, I just bypassed that step of my day today.
You just didn't write the date?
I didn't write the date.
Right. Fair enough.
I don't need to do that.
Fair enough.
Today we're going to talk about what we want to do in 2021, what our goals are, and how maybe for you in your life, either as an individual or as a family or in a partnership, how maybe you can look at 2021 in the next 12 months and kind of set out your year.
Yeah, we kind of have like 6 overarching topics or questions we kind of want to discover, because we did this on New Year's Eve, you and I, like we did a full set of questions. It was a great idea on your part.
Thank you.
Of going through like a list of like 10 questions and what we want to see out of each other and what we want to see out of ourselves in the year to come.
Well, we had actually just taken off 2 weeks of holidays.
Yeah.
So it was around like New Year's and then Christmas, and then we've just kind of got back to work just now. We record these episodes on Mondays and then post them on Tuesdays, which, by the way, we are now filming our episodes.
Yeah.
So you can see what we look like.
If you want to. If they don't want to see what you look like.
Look, we have Dylan's nice Lego sets in the background.
It's true.
I got you that nice sign of Johnny Gaudreau.
Yep.
You can't see it obviously on the podcast, but if you go to the YouTube page,
yeah,
you can see the hard work I put into your Christmas gift.
And you should be looking at the YouTube page, because I constantly talk with my hands and you don't get to see that on the podcast.
Whenever he says quotations, now you'll be able to see
when I say air quotes, you can actually see me do the air quotes.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's jump into the first question.
Sure, okay.
All right? Yeah, so the first question we kind of wanted to give you guys is, what can I improve on in my daily habits in 2021?
And when we actually made these questions, like, we wanted to like answer them for ourselves, but we also wanted to see like what each other thought our answer was going to be, or what our answer should be too. So,
and we want to see what you guys' answers are now too.
Yeah, so if you are doing this, like especially like with your partner or like with a friend, like try and answer the question for them too. What do you think they need to improve on in their daily habits?
Some outside,
as an example.
Outside influence on it as well. Yeah.
So, Dill, what was your answer?
Yeah, so my answer is pretty simple. I just need to stop worrying as much and like improve on in my daily habit, not being worried about the little things, and kind of prioritize things that I'm worrying about. Is it a level 3 worry? Should I be freaking out? Is it a level 1 worry where it's not that big of a deal?
Do you think you like jump to the conclusion right away?
I think I do that oftentimes, and I need to improve on that. But just and it's in all it's in all aspects of my life, where I have problems with my work, worrying about things within my job. I have problems worrying about our relationship, things that happen in our relationship, things that are with me, my finances, my day-to-day life, what I need to get done, what my goals are, what my desires and wants for 2021 are. I worry about them constantly, right? So prioritizing those worries and what's actually worth worrying about, what's worth losing hair over and what's not. Because 95% of the things we worry about in life are not worth worrying about.
But I think it's good to like have a bit of worrying, because then that means you care, obviously. Like when we were talking about our relationship, I'm like, if you worry, that obviously means that you care to like some point.
Absolutely. But that's different for different people, because a lot of people, maybe they don't worry about a lot. So when they are worried about something, it's a good thing, because it's telling them that they need to care about that thing. For me, on the other hand, I care about a ton of things, and so I worry a lot. So it's kind of the reverse of like, I need to deal with my worrying and not like, care more.
How do you think you're going to be able to do that?
If that makes sense. To be honest, I don't fully know, but I think that it's just constantly taking a check, and like when I am worried, taking a step back and analyzing my thoughts. I heard someone say a long time ago, like, every thought you have, you should have a hold of, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
Like, if your mind is racing, if you're like going to bed and your mind is racing and you're just thinking about one thing here, one thing there, one thing there, that's not helpful, because you're not able to analyze those thoughts as they're coming into your mind. So if you're able to catch those thoughts, analyze that thought as it's coming in, and then move forward, way more beneficial than just letting your mind be flooded with emotion, which oftentimes that happens to me.
You're a very emotional person.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that'd be my answer to like what I can improve on in my daily habits. What about you?
Probably thinking that, like, just because someone else has an idea and it's not like my idea, I can't like shut it down or not like say, hey, it is a good idea that you have. Like, for a lot of times, I think maybe this is like the only child coming out of me. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm just politely agreeing.
Like, if it's not my idea or it's not something that I would do, it doesn't mean like it's wrong. And I think that's the biggest thing, where it's like we've had in our relationship where there's a certain way that you do your day-to-day tasks or you just do something, and I wouldn't do it that way, but I can't just like shut you down on it because it's not wrong. It's just
different.
It's different. But I have a hard time allowing that because I'm like, I see a more efficient way. Whether it's like, I think a good way for people to relate to this is like if you're in the car with someone and they're driving to point A and they're taking a route that's different than yours, it's still gonna get to your destination, but you're like, why are you taking this road?
And it's maybe 2 minutes.
What exactly?
Right. 2 minutes difference.
But to me, I'll be like, there's a way more simpler route for you to get to the same destination.
Yeah, 100%.
It's not wrong. It's just two different ways.
Yeah.
So I think I need to get better at that, especially with us, because we're very similar in a lot of ways, but I think that you were grown up different than I was grown up, and there's just certain aspects of things that I just like do maybe more efficiently, how I think it would be efficiently, or for you it was just the way that you've always done it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You agree on that?
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so our second question, we spent a lot of time on the first one, but that's okay.
No, these are good. I think we have to like not just like say what our answers are. Like, we need to ask questions to each other about them and why we say that answer.
And like, again, the whole point, before we move on to the next one, the whole point of us like asking these questions and then answering them ourselves is to get you thinking about getting you guys thinking about it in your mind of what is my 2021 going to look like, and ask these questions to yourself and answer them. Yeah. So that you can look back at them in 3 months and be like, what the hell am I doing?
We wrote them on this paper. Like,
yeah.
So are you going to put this on your fridge?
Yes, I'll put it on my fridge, and I might even write it out like
nicer writing
in a bigger way, and like
capitalize
around my house. I saw my friend actually wrote down her goals on her mirror, in her like with a window pen or whatever.
Oh, but what happens when you gotta wash your mirror?
I guess you wash around it, or you write it out again so you solidify it in your mind.
Ooh.
Okay. Anyways, question two. Question 2 is, what steps do I need to take to reach my goals that I've set for this year?
So what are your goals and what steps are you taking?
Yeah. First of all, sidebar.
Okay.
I hate the word resolutions. I don't know why, but every time somebody asks me, what's your New Year's resolution? I'm like, I have no friggin' clue. I don't know what a resolution is. I like goals, because with work and stuff, I set a goal or a task, you know?
Yeah.
So maybe it's the exact same thing. I just hate the word resolutions. Just getting that out there.
Okay. We know how Dylan feels about resolutions. Yeah. So what are your goals?
I have a lot of different goals this year, and not a lot of them are like set out or like, you know, immediate. They're just overarching. Like, I want to get better with finances. I want to do this. I want to do that. Do better with like a side project. Get a side project going. Continue to build my career.
But do you think what I think the problem is with that is that it's so not broad, but it's not like a specific goal that I'm worried you're not going to reach it. That's
true.
Like, if you said like your finances, I want to save this amount of money, and you said like an actual amount, that way when you hit it, you're like, nice, I hit my goal. If you just say, oh, I want to get better with my finances, what does that like exactly mean? Like, what would that qualify for you? Would it be a range of like, oh, I want to save like just some money?
Right.
But if you set like a really good goal, even if it's like maybe higher than like a number higher than you want to save, that's like a goal that you're going to be continuing to reach all 12 months.
Right. Yeah.
I think that's what you need to do.
Yeah.
But I like your goals. I like what your ideas are.
And you know what my goals are. I just haven't fully like written them out or like been specific with it.
Well, that's not my job to do it.
No, I know that. But I think also for me, setting an end of the year goal, like a huge goal, like I want to save $12,000 by the end of the year. That's not as beneficial for me. And I know that other people's brains work differently. But for me, setting a monthly goal, or like I want to put this much away per month, or I want to gain this many followers, or if it's like social media based or Twitch based for streaming, right? I want to gain this amount of followers in this amount of time, as opposed to I want to be self-sufficient on Twitch by the end of the year. That's like not a specific enough goal for me. So I get what you're saying. I'm just having a hard time nailing those goals down from month to month.
Okay, so those are your goals.
Yeah.
What steps are you going to take to reach them?
I think for the saving part, like for saving money or like getting my finances in better working order, I really need to like daily budget, daily, weekly, monthly budget, and be better with what I'm buying, when I'm buying, why I'm buying it. Those are the 3 questions. It's like, is it timely for me to buy this right now? And this can be even down to like the $1 purchase, but it can also be up to like the, bigger purchases in life. But why am I purchasing it? Should I be purchasing it right now?
Yeah, do you need it?
Do I need it? Yeah, those kind of questions. So continually building up in my mind to continually ask myself those questions as I'm making my purchases. And then that will help with my budget, which you're helping me with and I'm working on right now.
Yeah,
I'm setting out an actual dollar amount on a spreadsheet for each thing, right?
Yeah, we made a spreadsheet together. So it kind of just says like what Dylan's income is and what money's coming in, and then what his bills are, his expenses are, and what money's left over. And I think a lot of people should do this. Like, I think I'm pretty good at saving money, but when I was doing yours, I'm like, this is really helpful. I could just then fully look at all the money coming in, all the money coming out for like bills, and what's left over. Right? So I think everybody this month should sit down with their finances and actually really look, because I bet you were surprised at how much like money actually you had left over when we said all done. Well, like, look at all this money I could put in a savings account.
And I'm ultimately surprised because I'm just terrible with money and I have no idea how to budget. So then when I actually wrote out the budget, I'm like, where is my money going?
Yeah.
I'm like, if you're saying that I could put this amount of money away,
that's great.
Easily.
Yeah.
Where is that
money?
And
you're still fine.
But I'm like, where is that money? So I need to figure that out.
I think budgeting is a really good way for you to like get to
so that's goal. One step that I'm going to use to reach my goal is budgeting. Yeah. The other one, and for like side projects and stuff, is focusing on learning. Like this also goes with finances and budgeting because I'm learning how to budget. But I'm realizing that I jump into things really quickly without learning how to do that specific thing. So this year I decided I want to be a Twitch streamer. So I just jumped into it. But then I realized there's all this stuff, and my buddy Connor's trying to help me out, where it's like, I don't know what I'm doing at all. I'm like, I thought I know the basics, right? I know I can jump in, but I'm having nothing but issues. And so I need to focus on like learning and like focus on research of the things. And this goes for a lot of things in my life, budgeting, work, like my job. Our industry is ever changing with architecture. New things are coming out each year. I need to keep up on learning that stuff as well. So focusing on learning, I think, is my second one.
But you know what I think of that? Because I know a lot of people, I wouldn't say you're a perfectionist. I just think you like to make sure what you're doing is done right.
Sure.
But I think the issue with like what you just said is like learning before you jumping in. I think some people who maybe are perfectionists or would like have characteristics of a perfectionist want to get everything laid out perfectly fine before they even like take the first step. Yeah. When like really you got to at least take that first step, and you're going to learn on the go, and you're going to have ups and downs, and you might fall and like, oh crap, I didn't see this roadblock coming and now I need to avoid it. Because I feel we all want to like make it all perfect before we set up something, right? Before you set up your Twitch account, you want to make sure all your logos look right and all like everything looks perfect, but no one's going to watch your Twitch streaming if you're not doing it in the first place. If you don't just start it, right?
And there's a balance there too, right? Yeah. So what do you think what steps are you going to take to reach your goals that you've set? And what are some of your goals, I guess? I
think one of my goals, I have a lot of goals, I think, in 2021. Paying off my Jeep, buying my first house. Yeah. But I think the one that would be really attainable for me, that would be a really good challenge, was getting 2 passive incomes. Yeah. So obviously I'm on a salary at the radio station. I go to work, I get paid, come home. That's my time. So I want to be able.
You have a lot of free time.
Right? I do have a lot of free time. So that's you were making fun of me today because today was my first day back at work. Yeah, I need to explain this.
So hard. I had such a hard day.
I went to work after 2 weeks of holidays. It's January. Everyone is tired and no one wants to interact with my show. And it was hard. Yeah. And I understand that I only work for 5 hours. and I get to play country music, and it's not a labor-intensive job.
I understand that your job is hard.
But I came to your house, and I literally just hit the couch, and I had a good half an hour nap because I'm like, I'm exhausted.
You went into toddler mode. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. But anyways, I do have a lot of free time, I think, for the most part. And so if I could build something to make a passive income where it's not trading my time for money,
right,
that's really good. I heard someone say that, you know, if you want to get rich, and it sounded like a scam, but trust me, it wasn't a scam, but it basically was saying that if you actually want to like make your money grow and actually, you know, become financially stable and not relying on just like a 9-to-5 job, you need to have like, I think 4 to 6 passive incomes. And people are like, oh, I can't just build 6 businesses out from nowhere. But it could even be simple as like, oh, I have a lot of stuff in my house. I'm going to sell this and I'm going to sell this on Facebook Marketplace. Or it could be like, hey, I'm going to build a budgeting spreadsheet, make it all fancy, sell it on Etsy, and boom, people download it for free, and that's no work on me.
Like one of my favorite guys on Instagram is Gary Vaynerchuk, and he like lives and breathes the like quick flips where guys buy stuff at Walmart and sell it on Amazon for more.
Exactly.
Or sell it on eBay for more.
Yep. So I don't know what those passive incomes are going to be. We're going to figure it out, and obviously...
But you're taking steps already. Like, that's one of your steps, is that you're researching, and you're looking at a lot of different options. Every other day, you're like, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? So, like, that's a step that you're taking.
Yes.
Right? What other steps are you taking, though?
For passive incomes?
Yeah, or just, like, your other goals. What steps are you taking to achieve them?
Well, obviously, I did get like a newer vehicle last spring. I had like a little blue Jeep Liberty that was coming to the point of me always wanting to fix it. I had all these dents. I didn't have the heat blowing. It was a good vehicle, but it was time to get a new vehicle. So I got my new vehicle. I saved a ton of money to get it. And so my goal was to get it paid off in a year.
Yeah.
For a 2018 vehicle, I think that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So I've just been making sure I'm setting out money to additionally make payments on that vehicle. So if people do have like the leasing options or whatever it is, and you have that money coming out of your account to pay for it, I'm just putting like additional money, like 5 times the amount of what my payment is a month, so I can get it paid off in a year. I don't have to pay a lot of interest. So that's something that I'm doing to, I don't know, reach that goal for paying off my vehicle.
Yep. Good. All right. Next question I want to ask, or we want to talk about, is self-care and how we can practice it more, or what things are we going to try this year for self-care?
Okay. Mine, and you're going to like agree with me on this one, is positive affirmations. Yeah. I'm really like self-conscious.
Yes, you are.
And I don't know why that's like been instilled in me, that I just like don't like the way I look. But
I think that's a human thing.
I think so.
I don't think there's one single person in the history of mankind who said, I love everything about me, I am perfect. I don't think that's possible.
Really?
I don't think so.
I feel like everyone else like is so happy with the way they look, and then I'm here just like,
Name one person that is completely happy with the way they look.
I bet you the Victoria's Secret models are so happy.
No.
You don't think so?
No, because they have to do a whole lot of stuff to keep that way, or to be that way, right? And I can guarantee you that someone down the line said that they weren't the right size or they weren't the right shape. Yeah. And that's why they're like at that position that they are, is because they worked hard for it. Right? Nobody's ever completely happy with the way they look. Anyways, I just like...
Dylan hypes me up because I will like be upset or like self-conscious, and you'll just try and like reassure me. It's not like you're saying, oh, Megan, your thoughts are like not true. You'll just say, hey, what are you thinking? Like your thoughts are valid, but this is the way I see you, and I wish the way, right? Like, how do you say it?
Well, going back to kind of what I was talking about before, is like catching every thought, analyzing, is this true? Is this valid? Is this constructive criticism for myself? Or is it like, oh man, I hate that pimple, or I hate the way that my face looks, or I hate this, I hate that, or like I need to dress better. Is that constructive? Probably not. If it's making you feel like crap, it's not constructive. If it's making you feel like insightful and saying, oh, maybe I should change this habit or change that habit, that's beneficial. Yeah. If it's like, I hate myself, that is no sense of the word beneficial. No. Right? So you got to make sure that your self-criticism is constructive, right?
Yeah. And I've heard a lot of people just say, like, if you say like 5 nice things about yourself every morning and every night, like it sounds really silly, but if you like say it out loud, apparently that helps like with your mindset to like believe it. So I don't know. We're trying it. It's weird at the beginning because I'm like, I feel like I'm lying to myself by saying like these things that I should be saying.
But you hear them from other people too. So you're not lying to yourself.
Okay. But sometimes I feel like they just say it.
Okay. But if somebody's just saying someone, unless they're a jerk, then they're not just saying that to say it. They actually mean it, and they mean it. Maybe they're like hyping you up or not necessarily like giving you the full truth, but they're saying something because they love you. So take that as like gold, you know? Okay. Even if you don't believe them, take it as gold and be like, that person went out of his or her way to tell me something, right?
So how would you practice self-care in 2021?
I think my biggest thing, and there's a friggin' poster on my wall in my room to say it, and it's something I've dealt with my entire life, and this year, 2021, is the year I conquer it. No, I'm just kidding. I probably won't conquer it, but not be so hard on myself.
Yeah.
And that's so hard to like pinpoint or like put a timestamp on of like, this is when I was hard on myself or this is when I was easy on myself. But overarching through my entire life and everything that I do, I need to be less hard on myself. That's very hard to do when have perfectionist tendencies and, you know, I don't practice what I preach with you, especially. I tell you all the time, like, don't feel that way. You're beautiful, blah, 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 this, and this. But then 2 minutes later, I get frustrated with something at work and I'm like, Dylan, come on, you should have been better. Instead of like, how can I improve on that? And like, I think the biggest thing for me with don't be so hard on yourself is don't be so hard on yourself, but be critical of yourself. But that's a distinct difference. So
it is, yeah.
Having constructive criticism on yourself is very different than just plain and simply being hard on yourself, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think that's one thing that I'm going to practice this year. And then the second thing, which is a much easier thing to obtain, is I want to work out more and I want to like get into, you know, the routine that I had last summer, but I kind of squandered through the winter because I can't run as much.
Yeah, but you just not built, but you have like an exercise room.
I know.
Now. Like you actually have equipment in that room.
I built a gym in my house, so I need to use it.
And how often have you used it?
I've used it 3 times in the month that I've had it. So I definitely.
And you were so excited.
I know I was, but yeah, there's lots.
You're like, Megan, just like move on.
I know.
But I'm like trying to tell you, we need to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
We will move on to the next question. And again, make sure you're answering these questions for yourself. Hopefully you're writing them down, but if not, you can also, we have an Instagram page, Living Life Authentically podcast on Instagram. So we'll post these questions up on there too for you to see. But where do we see ourselves in 2022? So in 1 year, where do we individually see each other?
Yeah. And this one is super hard for me to answer because well, like I said before with like the budgeting thing, I hate like lump sum goals of like in 5 years I want to be, you know, CEO or like I don't like those long-term goals as much as I like short-term goals, even though I know that they're important, like the long-term goals.
Well,
right?
You got to make both then.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess my 1 year goal is to like, similar to probably yours, is I want to have like a passive income. I want to learn how to stock trade a little bit. Yeah. That's something that we're dabbling into and start like, you know, I want to learn how to do that properly. And trying to get into this little world of streaming and maybe, you know, be able to have a little bit of an income through that, get Twitch affiliated and that kind of stuff, which is not hard to obtain, but like, I want to make sure that I can get to that point. Yeah. And then a bigger goal, which I don't know if it's attainable because I only did it once this year, but I want to be able to run a 20K with ease. So that's going to...
With ease or just run it?
With ease. Like I want to be able to run like half marathons without really thinking.
I can't run 5.
Well, it took me all year to get up to a point, or most of the summer to get to a point where I could run a 10 easily. Yeah. Right? And by the end of the summer, I was running 10s easily. I don't know if that could happen right now because I haven't run in like 2 months. But anyway, so those are kind of things I want to work on. And then, just my physical physical being. I just want to improve. That's you can't really write that goal down of like, because I don't have weight goals or anything like that, but I just want to,
you want to be, yeah. I think just
continue to be fit and then push the boundaries of that a little bit.
But with being like fit and exercising, like you'll see it like physically and like feel it with like your health if you're improving on that. So you don't necessarily need to like set that number goal of hitting the scale at a certain amount, right? Yeah. Where do I see myself in 2022?
Yeah, yours was a simple answer.
Hopefully being in my own house.
Yeah, like I hope you are too.
Right now, because when I got the job here in Calgary, it was like amidst COVID. It's not a permanent position. Yeah. It's only for like less than a year contract. So I just moved in with my mom, which is great. She allowed me to come move in. And I'm not complaining. No. Like it's really great living with my mom and spending all this time with her. But like if I could be in my own house, be in my own space, like I'm going to be turning 24 in a couple.
Real big girl.
Right?
Now.
I'm going to be turning 24 in a couple of months.
I'm turning 24 in like 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah. And it was funny. My mom the other day, she's like, your pro Bopsha was married at 16 with a kid, and Bopsha was married with 2 kids. I was married already, and here you are. And I'm like, thanks, Mom. So, yeah, my goal is to be being in my own house. But I want to mention, because we saw this online, and I thought it was a really cool thing of, like, setting a goal. So whatever it is, whether it's where do you see yourself in 2022 or what are your goals for 2021, is the SMART goal method.
Yes.
Okay, so we saw this online, and I'm like, I think this is a really cool idea because it's SMART, and each of the letters say or stand for something. So the S is specific.
It's an acronym.
Is that what that means?
I think it's acronym.
Okay, we'll go with that.
I might have just like confidently said that. I'm completely wrong.
Okay, specific. So your goals must be very clear and not vague. So I was saying that just to you about the financing, getting your finances better. That's not very specific. Yeah. So when putting a SMART goal ahead of yourself, make sure it isn't vague. Because if it's too generic, it's usually impossible to measure the progress or successful achievement. Yeah. So making sure specific, measurable. So the goals need to be measurable and like well-defined and kind of being like laid out too. So you can understand like where the measuring is on that.
Yeah.
Attainable is the A in SMART. So it has to be also like realistic and achievable. It's like, I don't want to be a millionaire in 1 year. Like, obviously I do too, but that's not really attainable. Yeah. And it's just so out of reach. So you have to have a good goal that, I don't know, that you'd be able to achieve. Yeah.
But the other thing too is that some people's attainable goals are not obtainable for another person.
Right? Oh, yeah. You have to look at yourself.
Yeah, exactly. If you are working at Subway, you can't say that you're going to save $10,000 this year, right? If you're working,
there's someone listening who does work
true.
at Subway.
I shouldn't have said that.
And you know what? They probably do want to save $10,000.
If you're working at minimum,
you used to work at Subway.
Let me rephrase that.
We're not editing this out.
Okay, fine. Okay. But I'm going to rephrase it so I can save myself.
Okay, you try and save yourself.
So, if you're working a minimum wage job and you say you want to save $100,000 this year, not possible, not obtainable.
That's a bit better.
If you are working a job like minimum wage and you say you want to save $1,000 this year, much more attainable.
You know that Subway sandwich artist, I got your back.
God.
Okay, we are at the R now.
This is going to be a long one. I love it. Because we're going to run out of time there. We're doing very... I love this
one too.
Yeah. This is going to be really good.
Wait. Okay, so now with the R, relevant. So your goals have to have like a purpose to them. Of course, like we like to like dream really big and like be in the stars and like just go so far into the deep end, I think, in January with some of our goals.
That was a great way to say that, but okay. Shoot for the stars is what you're going for.
What did I say?
You start talking about outer space, then you went into pools and deep ends. Anyways, relevant. Has to be relevant.
Yeah. If I want to go to the moon.
Yes.
Or I want to go into the Marianas Trench.
Yeah.
Is that relevant?
No.
No. It really isn't. Especially in 2020. I can't even leave my country, let alone the earth.
Yeah.
So it has to be relevant.
All right, pull it together.
Okay, and the last one of the SMART goals. is time sensitive. So obviously, like when we're looking at where we see ourselves when we get to 2022, that's 12 months.
Yeah.
So if some of your goals are so maybe broad and longer time frame, like don't say, oh, I'm going to get it done in a year. Like you said, if you are that person that likes those 1 year, 5 year, 10 year goals, then maybe that's what it is. But just make sure like you have like that time frame and that deadline too of where you want it.
Yeah.
So, for example, like how I said, I want to pay off my vehicle in a year from when I bought it. That means I need to pay it off this coming June.
Yeah.
Which is okay if I don't pay it off, but that's just the goal.
And that's the point I wanted to hit on.
Okay.
You just said it. It's okay if I don't hit that goal. Going back to our podcast about grace and giving grace to yourself and giving grace to others, you need to give yourself grace with time sensitivity with your goals. So let's say I want to run a 20K by June and I don't hit that. But I'm getting dang close. Like I'm running like 15, 17 consistently, but I can't hit that 20.
Yeah.
And it's September and I'm like, oh God, I'm not going to make it. That's okay. Look at the progress you've made. As long as you're making progress and working towards that goal, the deadline's not super important.
Yeah. And also like avoid comparisons too, because like for you to run a 20K, like you're probably going to do that. And obviously I want to run with you and I want to help, like I want you to help me get better running. But if I set a goal of running 20K, I know I'm going to fail too. Whether or not like my timeline is by the end of the summer, it's just not attainable and it's not time sensitive for me to run a 20K. Maybe in like 3 years I could do that.
Yeah. But I think I remember even somebody talking about this. I don't know what it was. It was some YouTube video or like a sermon or something back in the day. But somebody said like, never set goals with other people. Set goals for yourself. And I don't know if I fully agree with that, but I think what they're trying to get at is like everyone's so different.
Yeah.
If I set a goal to have 80,000 TikTok followers and you set a goal to have, or sorry, let's say 100, because that's one of your goals as well, to grow your TikTok following, right?
Yeah.
If I say I want 100,000 followers by the end of the year, that's literally impossible for me. That is completely possible for you, right? So setting your goals with other people can be dangerous, right? Unless you know that you're on the same path.
Yes.
Yeah, if that makes sense.
Okay. Who? Okay.
Yeah.
We have a couple more questions for you to answer. What do I need to do in the first 3 months of 2021?
Yeah, and this relates kind of to what your goals are. So what do you need to do in the first 3 months to kind of get those 2022 goals, or by the end of the year, done?
Do you know what I wrote down? It says run with Dylan. We just talked about that.
There you go.
I don't know why I did that in the first 3 months of 2021 because it's winter.
Are you wanting to run with me if I do some winter runs this year?
I would fall. I did a winter hike the other day and I had to put those like little things on the bottom of your shoes because I was going to fall. So I don't know why I wrote that down, but what I did, let's see what else I wrote down. What I need to do in the first 3 months of 2021 is grow my TikTok to 100,000.
Yep.
Currently, I think I'm at 82,000.
It's crazy.
Yes. If you're following me on TikTok, by the way, and that's how you found this podcast, thank you so much.
We were in Costco the other day. Sorry, sidebar again. We were in Costco the other day, and this guy stops us in the friggin' checkout line, and we both got masks on because #COVID, and the guy's like, "Are you Megan from TikTok?" And I'm like, I look at this guy, I'm like, "What?" Like, they recognized you through a mask. Like, I don't know if it's your height.
The mask was really good.
I don't know if it's your height because you're short or your hair because it's unique, but like, I have no idea.
I was actually like, this was in August when I had maybe like 30,000 followers and I was with my best friend and we were on a hike in the middle of Kananaskis and this was not a very popular hike and we maybe saw 10 people on this hike and coming on the way up, like where the scramble is, we kind of went to the side and let some people come down and I commented on this guy's socks. I'm like, cool socks, dude. They were like donuts. I don't know. And it's like, thanks. Hey, you're Megan from TikTok. And my best friend, like, who does not understand my TikTok, like, fame, quote unquote, she's like, you gotta be kidding. We're literally on a mountain and someone recognized you.
Yeah. My favorite thing about your, like, TikTok, we're way off on a sidebar, but that's okay. My favorite thing about your TikTok is that the stuff you post and that does well is so stupid.
I know, then I try.
But it's so dumb.
And I try really hard with something else and then it doesn't do good. And I'm like, I tried so hard for this TikTok, and then I do a rant one day, and then people love it.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh. But
like,
yes, I do want to like
so
grow
good.
my TikTok following a little bit more. I want to grow my YouTube page because I've just started that. So I think grow my social media platforms would be great. And as well, just like look for like non-radio opportunities too.
Yeah.
I love what I do at the radio station. I love being an announcer and working with country radio, but I also want to like see what else I can do that I would be good at.
Absolutely.
What about for you, Dill?
Mine's similar to yours in a little bit of a sense.
You want to be a radio announcer? You want to see other opportunities?
Yeah, I want to work at country.
Do it.
I want to work at country. No, I love country radio, but no,
you do.
I cannot do what you do.
So
I struggle mightily on this podcast, so I would not be able to talk live. You edit out a lot of the crazy crap I say, so
this episode's gonna have all of it. And not
this episode's gonna be a long one.
We're almost done. We're almost done.
Okay, so what do I need to do in the first 3 months of 2021? Number 1 is minimalize. I watched the documentary on Netflix, and it was like all this like hipster minimalism stuff, but it like resonated with me.
Was that the girl who folds clothes really nicely?
No, that are you talking about that Marie Kondo girl?
Yeah.
No, that's not the girl I'm thinking of. But like it was just a documentary. That's like a series, but that one's also good from what I hear. I don't think I can like. Yeah. Anyway. Moving on. Sorry. My number 1 is minimalize, because I have so much clutter that like I have boxes of stuff that I haven't opened in a year. Why do I still have that stuff? If I haven't used it in a year, like unless I know there's something in there that I'm going to use in 5 years, which 95% of the time I don't have that.
Yeah.
My life is only a 1-year cycle. I forget about stuff I did last year, right? Or stuff I bought last year or I had last year. But anyways, so that minimizes kind of my first one. My second one kind of goes with my running stuff, and that's sign up for races.
Yeah.
So that I actually have to like, that's good for keeping my goals timely or time sensitive, is that I sign up for a race in July. I have to meet that goal to be able to run a 10K easily in that time frame.
Yeah.
So that'd be my second one. And then my third one is like budget and, make sure I'm set up for the rest of the year with a budget and make sure that I'm able to hit that goal every week and every month.
And you want to do all those in the first 3 months. Like,
I want
make
to
sure
do all those in the first 3 months. And then my last one, which is kind of lower on the totem pole, but something I really want to do, but I've been struggling mightily with it, is like my non-career opportunity with streaming to kind of get that set up. So
last question for us to answer and for you to answer as well while you're listening to this podcast is, what am I proud to bring in 2021?
Yeah. Megan. I'm proud to bring Megan into 2021.
I thought you asked me to go, to talk.
No. I'm saying Megan is the first one I wrote down, right? And I'm proud of our relationship and what we're bringing into the new year as well. And I think 2021 is going to be the year that we hit the ground running with our relationship as well. We've already built such a great base, and I think this year is going to be a lot of growth.
Yeah, I honestly put like what I'm proud to be bringing into 2021 is a strong, healthy, communicative relationship. That is exactly what I wrote down, because we both said like the relationship that we've had not similar situations with past relationships. That's so new and foreign to us. But we're so happy to be in this position. So it is like, it's something to be proud of.
And like you wrote just one line down, but I had a couple things, but I think they work for both of us.
Okay.
And I could be wrong. But I said like Megan, so my relationship, my growing career. Your career is growing in many different aspects. Your career and your non-career opportunities are both growing at the same time. I don't really have any non-career yet, but I'm going to get there. And then our drive and motivation. We both have a lot of drive and a lot of motivation. The fact that we did this podcast is a huge leap for me. And I think it's a tinier leap for you. But because you're more used to kind of the entertainment aspect.
But this was something that you pushed me more than I pushed you towards.
Well, I think it's something that I've always wanted to do, and I knew it was something that you wanted to do. I've always wanted to do a sports podcast. This is not a sports podcast,
I'm so sorry to
unfortunately.
disappoint you.
Maybe I'll do solo episodes where we just talk about sports, which will get like 5 views.
I would be a great sports commentator.
Would you though?
Yeah, look at him
but you're a
dribble the
Stamps
ball.
fan. You're a Stamps fan. So you can't really qualify into like a sports expert if you decide that the Stamps are better than the Rough Riders. I'm sorry.
I'm so disappointed in you.
Anyways, that's all we got. So here's kind of a summary of the questions that we want to ask. And again, we'll post this. We want you to ask yourself these questions, and we'll post this in various different locations. That was a terrible sentence. We'll edit that out.
You want to restart that then?
Yeah. Okay. So here's a summary of like the 6 questions that we just asked and what we want you to ask yourselves as well.
Okay.
So number 1 is, what can I improve on in my daily habits? Number 2.
What steps do I need to take to reach these goals and what the goals are?
Yeah. Number 3 is, how can I practice more self-care?
Number 4, where do I see myself in 2022?
And what do I need to do in the first 3 months of 2021?
And what am I proud of to bring into 2021?
Yeah. And if you can answer all 6 of those questions, I think that's a pretty good setup for 2021.
It's a good exercise just to do.
Yeah.
Like we did it on New Year's Eve. Yeah. Obviously you can do it anytime. Like if you're listening to this podcast, like by the end of January or like in a couple weeks or couple months, you're like, oh, like I'm not like,
or halfway through 2021.
Yeah. Like, as long as you just like take the initiative to just write them down, because that's what I've also learned. If you like write down your goals, it just instills it more in your head that this is actually what I want to do.
Right.
So yeah, whenever you're listening to this podcast, it doesn't matter. Just answer these 6 questions.
Wow. That was like a good one. I think I'm very proud of that episode. I usually struggle mightily through these, just so you guys know. And that one was like, I felt
it was
good.
good.
About that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you again for listening. You can listen on Apple and Spotify. Make sure you're following us on the Living Life Authentically podcast on Instagram. And we filmed this episode so you can see our faces.
Yes.
And you can watch it on YouTube.
My ugly mug is going to be on YouTube.
It's so cute.
All right. See you guys next week.
Bye.